Sometimes you come across a story that feels timeless, like it could have happened 1,000 years ago or maybe even yesterday. This is one of those. It's about a quiet woodcutter, a wealthy young woman, and a secret that, believe me, is about to change everything. Let's get into the story of the woodcutter and the princess. So, right off the bat, this story gives us this warning, or maybe it's a promise. It basically says that the truth might stay hidden if we don't stick around till the end. It's hinting that the quietest people, the ones we overlook, they often have the biggest stories to tell. Let's make sure we uncover the truth in this one. All right, part one, a silent beginning. So, picture this, a city where life seems to move at a slow pace, but where a single decision can just completely change your entire life. We're about to meet our two main characters, and trust me, they couldn't be living in more different worlds. First up, we have Hamza, the woodcutter. This guy lives way out on the edge of the city, right where the forest starts. He's not rich, he doesn't have any powerful friends. Really, all he has is this one rule he lives by. Be a burden on yourself, but never, ever on anyone else. So every single morning before the sun's even up, he prays, grabs his axe, and just heads into the forest. All of his hard work is wrapped up in this quiet dignity. It's who he is. And then, right in the heart of that same city, there's Ayesha. Now, she has everything you could possibly imagine. Respect, comfort, a totally secure life. But she spends a lot of time just standing at her window looking down at the world bustling below. And she can't help but wonder, how can you be surrounded by so many people and still feel so completely alone? Okay, so you can really see the difference here. We've got two completely different worlds, but they share one path. On one side, you've got Hamza, hard work, silence, poverty. And on the other, Aisha, respect, comfort, wealth. It's a stark contrast, right? But here's the thing. Every single day, their lives cross on this one street, and it's creating this silent connection, one that neither of them really understands yet. Okay, so let's get into part two, shadows of growing doubt. This is where things start to get complicated, because that simple, silent routine, just a man walking past a window, well, it's about to become the seed of a huge suspicion. Other people are starting to watch, and they're definitely not seeing what's really there. So here's the routine. Every day, same time. Every day, same path. Every day, the same woodcutter. And for Aisha's brother, this is just too perfect. It's not a coincidence. He's watching Hamza pass by day in and day out, and he's thinking, poverty and silence, that can be a pretty dangerous mix. Suddenly, this whole thing stops looking like a routine and starts looking like a plan. And it's not just the brother. There's this suitor, a guy named Zaid, who's wanted to marry Ayesha for ages. He senses the tension in the house, and he totally uses it. He doesn't come right out and accuse anyone. No, he's way more subtle. He just fans the flame, saying things like, oh, the times we live in, you really have to keep a close eye on everything. It's classic manipulation. And boom, just like that, the father lays down the law. From tomorrow, the window will remain closed. And those words are just devastating. For Aisha, it's so much more than a window being shut. It feels like all the air is being sucked out of the house. That silent connection she had, it's gone, cut off by this thick wall of suspicion. This leads us right into part three, the night of decision. And believe me, everything is about to come to a head. This is the night where all those assumptions get challenged, where true motives are finally exposed, and where this family has to face the one truth they've been trying so hard to ignore. So they're trying to marry her off to someone else. And Asha, who's been so quiet this whole time, she finally finds her voice. She says, tomorrow I will learn to smile, but that smile will not be the happiness of this house. Wow, her voice is still soft, but those words are so powerful. She's not yelling, she's not defying him, but she's making it crystal clear. If you break my heart, you break the happiness of this home forever. Her silence is gone, and in its place is this heavy, undeniable truth. The father, now seeing his daughter's pain, turns to Zaid and questions him, like, why are you so invested in this? And the truth just tumbles out. Zaid finally admits it. He wasn't trying to protect the family's honor or any of that, nope. He was just trying to get the woodcutter out of the picture so he could marry Ayesha himself. His selfish motive is completely exposed. And then you have the other suitor, this guy Ayaz. He hears all of this, and he says, I do not want to build my home on the burden of someone's heart. What a class act. He totally gets it. He could force the marriage, but he knows he'd only have her hand, never her heart. So he gracefully steps back. He chooses honor over simply possessing someone. Okay, so with the truth finally out there, the family does the one thing they probably should have done from the start. They summon Hamza. The silent woodcutter is about to face them, and get this, he has absolutely no clue that his simple daily walk to work has created this massive storm. And that brings us to part 4, the triumph of character. This is it, the moment of truth. Hamza, a man who has barely said a word, is now standing in front of this powerful family, about to be judged. But the funny thing is, the judgment isn't really going to be about what he says, it's about who he is. And just listen to the question Aisha's father asks him. He doesn't ask, "Do you love my daughter?" He doesn't ask, "How much money do you have?" No, his question goes so much deeper. He asks, "Can you bear my daughter's responsibility with honor?" It's all about character. Can you take care of her with honor, even if you have nothing to your name? And Hamza's answer, man, this is the core of the whole story. He says, "I have nothing today, and perhaps not much tomorrow, but whatever I have will be honestly earned, and I will never run from my responsibility." It's just pure, uncut honesty. He's not promising riches, he's promising integrity. He's promising he won't back down. It's a simple but incredibly powerful statement about who he is. And in that one moment, everything clicks for the father. He gets it. He could marry his daughter to a rich man, sure, but what's the point of a wealthy home if there's no peace of mind inside it? He realizes that this poor woodcutter, Hamza, has more honor than anyone else in that room. And he makes his decision. He chooses character over cash. So that brings us to the big finale, part 5, the story's lesson. After all that drama, all that doubt, what are we supposed to take away from this? What's the real truth this story wanted us to see? Let's break it down. It really comes down to these 3 pillars. First, you have sabr, or patience. That's Hamza, patiently enduring his poverty. Second, izzat, which means respect and honor. That's Asha, respecting her own heart while still honoring her family. And third, yaqeen, or faith in a higher plan. They both had this belief that something greater was at work. It shows you, doesn't it? The strongest relationships aren't always built on loud declarations. Sometimes they're built on these quiet, powerful virtues. Remember this line? The one who is true does not need to offer justifications. It really hits home at the end, doesn't it? Think about it. Hamza was suspected because he was silent. He never jumped to defend himself. He just let his character, his actions speak for him. And in the end, that was more than enough justification. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. Are the greatest stories written in silence? In a world that's all about being loud, about making your voice heard, this story kind of whispers a different idea. It suggests that maybe true strength, real character, and yeah, even the most epic love stories aren't written in words at all, but in the quiet, dignified silence in between.